Well, joining me now is RedBridge Group Director Simon Welsh. We speak to him every week. We often talk about the voice. What have you got in terms of information, data, research for us this morning about what does happen next, Simon?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Yeah, it's I think there's some real challenges here. There's sort of immediate term challenges, particularly for the Labor government, and then I think there's longer term strategic challenges for the Liberal Party. So what we're seeing is, while on our program we've talked a lot about sort of the no vote and what's driving that, and a lack of engagement with the issue, and the lack of elevation of the issues, those sorts of things. We're focused on that a lot. What we haven't talked so much about is the yes vote, and there is a significant cohort of voters out there, and a significant cohort of Labor's left flank that are animated by this issue. This issue has been elevated to one of great importance to them over the past few months. Those voters, many of whom, when we talk to them in focus groups, are still hope against hope that the referendum gets up on Saturday night. When they wake up to the reality on Monday morning, should it not pass, which is, as you say, which is what the polls are indicating, that there's going to be a gulf. That there's going to be a need that the government now needs to fill. This issue, as I say, has been elevated. They want something to happen. We can't just wake up on Monday morning and say, well, referendum didn't pass, too bad. There's going to be an absolute need for the government to do something serious around Indigenous health, Indigenous education, just the quality of life, and then the plight of Indigenous people. That's what these voters are expecting. If they can't get it on Saturday night, that there's a heightened level of expectation around that for the government. The challenge for them, for the government, as I say, in the shorter term, is there's still the other side of the equation, which is those that have voted no, or maybe have voted yes, but without great intensity in their feeling behind it. And there's going to be an absolute need to pivot back very quickly to bread and butter economic issues. They continue to come up in the groups, and the relative absence of the government on those issues continues to be a point of note.
Simon, sorry, I don't know how you straddle that as well, because on the one hand you're saying, there is still a significant cohort of people, 1/3 of voters, most of them the younger cohort, that do want to see this referendum get up. Anthony Albanese's already said that he's not going to, if it's a no, then turn around and legislate it through Parliament, because that would be kind of underscoring or trying to undermine the outcome of this referendum. At the same time, there's a cost of living crisis. This war that we're reporting on for the last 4 days is, going to have an effect on our markets, on the price of oil, and could stretch on for quite some time. So this is quite a difficult strategy or one to straddle for the Prime Minister and the government, isn't it?
Absolutely. Those that are sort of in that the yes camp, quite animated by it, that they will accept, and in some cases will gladly accept material investment in those communities. It doesn't have to be constitutional recognition or that sort of thing. That moment might have passed, but serious material improvement in those communities would be a sort of an acceptable response from the government. But as you say, particularly in a context, if they then don't get the other side of that pivot right, that economic pivot right, yes, you will have large chunks of voters who will look at that and say, where's the support for voters like me? You will get that kind of reaction. So let alone then actually having the capacity to make serious investment. We know a lot of governments at the moment struggling with debt and those sorts of things. So it's a policy challenge as much as it is a political challenge. Absolutely.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just finally, before we let you go, Simon, any chance of the yes vote getting up on Saturday in your view?
Look, I can only go by the polling. The polling isn't good. I would say we're sort of in the realm now where we're talking about that the only hope is voter turnout and informality. If there is a sort of a really sort of softness to one edge of the no vote, where people maybe get in there and sort of can't quite bring themselves to vote no. They want to do something for Indigenous people and not sure about the no vote, but maybe they'll vote informal, or maybe they'll just not show up. That's the sort of stage that we're at, which is not a good position to be in. It's going to be very tough.
Simon, thanks so much for that. I really appreciate it.